despite what the perspective is from most of the media and fans that there was a lost opportunity with the group that Butch Jones initially recruited with those 3 strong recruiting classes that kind of culminated with the 6 NFL draftees and Josh Dobbs' senior season. Despite a missed opportunity there, you would think that the recruiting would fall off, but that's not been the case, Mike.
No, it's not. The 2018 recruiting class is shaping up to be a very good one. It's still early, of course, and they're just commits. You know, it won't be definitive until we get to February, and there's a long time between now and February. There's also a season to play. But right now, the 2018 class is looking very strong for Jones. 247 Sports, the composite, has them ranked number 1 in the SEC, number 3 nationally, behind Miami and Ohio State, I believe. I think Miami's ranked first. I believe it's Ohio State. They're at number 2. But if you look at the average, you know, it's still a top 10 class no matter how you look at it. If you look at the player average, they're about 10th. But it's still shaping up to be a very good class. Particularly, 2 things I see out of this class. One, the defensive line haul is amazing. Right now, they have 5 defensive line commits: Greg Emerson, DeAndre Litaker, Brant, Lawless, Jamarcus Chapman, and Dorian Gerald. 3 4-stars, and then 2 very highly rated 3-stars. One of which will probably be a 4-star by the time they go into the signing class. If all 5 of those guys sign in February, Gerald's a JUCO guy, so he can sign a little bit earlier. But if all 5 of those guys end up on the roster, that's going to be easily, I think, Tennessee's best defensive line recruiting season, recruiting haul in the history of the program. The other thing I see is 6 of the 9 top in-state prospects in this committed in this class right now. So in the state of Tennessee, what you and I have talked about before, between the Knoxville area and particularly the Middle Tennessee, the Nashville, Middle Tennessee area, is becoming one of the better recruiting hotbeds. It's still not Southern California. Clearly, it's not Texas, and it's not Atlanta. But Middle Tennessee, Nashville is probably top 6 or top 8 recruiting areas in the nation now. 6 of the state's top 9 recruits have committed to Tennessee. Butch Jones didn't recruit the state of Tennessee very well last year, so this is a very good sign that he's keeping a lot of in-state talent in Knoxville. That's a huge sign after losing 2 guys from Knoxville. So Butch Jones goes out and he secures commitments from 6 of the top 9 players in the state of Tennessee. So he's locking down that talent in the state of Tennessee, and that's a very good sign coming off of last year where he didn't recruit the state very well. Lost 2 guys right out of Knoxville, Amari Rogers and T. Higgins, both of those guys to Clemson. That was a big blow kind of to Butch's image in the recruiting area. So to get 6 commitments out of the top 9 guys in the state of Tennessee is a very good sign. I think Ohio State got one of those commitments, Alabama got one of the commitments, and then Vanderbilt got one of the other commitments. So of the 3, Ohio State, Alabama, and Vanderbilt. So that's not bad. That's great that Butch is able to get 6 of the 9 top guys from the state of Tennessee. So the 18 recruiting class is shaping up to be very good. Of course, we still have the season to play. You would like to think that if it's a successful season, 9, 10, 11 wins, that it probably gets maybe even a little bit better. Anything 7 wins and below, you probably expect it to drop off. But who knows? Butch's first 3 classes, he was able to sell guys on playing time and building the program, and that's how he was able to get high classes. So you never really know with recruiting, but as it stands now, the 2018 recruiting class is looking very good in spite of all the negativity around the program, or at least in spite of the perceived negativity around the program.